Let's talk about something serious that's happening in our country right now. A big issue, a controversial one. Something that involves power, politics, and maybe even the future of the Philippines. This is the story of Vice President Sara Duterte and how she ended up being impeached by the House of Representatives. But until now, the trial in the Senate has not yet started. Some people say it should. Others say it should not. Let me break it down slowly so everyone can understand. This is a real story with real people involved, and it affects all of us. It all started in early 2025. Around February 5th, 2025, big news shocked the country. The House of Representatives, that's the lower house of Congress, voted to impeach Vice President Sara Duterte. It wasn't a close vote. More than 215 lawmakers said yes. Almost no one voted no. Why? What were the reasons? There were 7 serious charges in the complaint. Here's what they say she did. Number 1. Threatening the president and others. She was accused of ordering a hitman to kill President Marcos Jr., his wife, and Speaker Martin Romualdez if anything happened to her. That's very serious. Number 2. Misuse of confidential funds. They said she spent over 600 million pesos of secret government funds as vice president and education secretary. And many of the receipts were either fake or missing. Number 3. Bribery inside the Department of Education. She was allegedly paying off officials inside the department to favor certain people or businesses. Number 4. Unexplained wealth. Her statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth, also called SALN, showed a big difference between what she declared and what people believe she actually owns. Number 5. Link to extrajudicial killings. They said she was somehow connected to the Davao death squad, which was active when her father, Rodrigo Duterte, was president. Number 6. Destabilizing the government. She didn't attend important events like the State of the Nation address. She also allegedly told her staff not to comply with legal orders or subpoenas. Some say she was trying to undermine the presidency of Marcos Jr. Number 7. Betrayal of public trust. They added this as a general complaint, that her actions went against the Constitution and public trust. What happened next? The House voted to send the articles of impeachment to the Senate. That happened on February 5th, 2025, their last session before a break. According to the Constitution, once the Senate gets the articles, it must begin the trial right away. But here's the thing. The Senate did not act right away. They said, "We're on break. We need to wait for the next session before we do anything. We must follow procedure." Then, on June 10th, 2025, the Senate convened briefly as an impeachment court. But instead of starting the trial, they voted to send the articles of impeachment back to the House. Why? Because they wanted 2 things. First, to certify that the impeachment complaint followed the 1-year rule, meaning that the vice president had not already been impeached in the past 12 months. And second, to confirm if the newly elected 20th Congress still wanted to proceed with the case. So, no trial yet? The Senate hasn't started the actual trial. They are still in preparation, making rules, confirming charges, and waiting for official certification from the House. Now, people are divided. Some say, let's proceed with the trial. Others say, stop it. It will only hurt the country. Let's now talk about both sides. Why is it a bad idea to proceed with the trial? Some people believe that moving forward will bring danger to the country. Here's why. First, it creates political instability. If the vice president is on trial, it sends a message of conflict and division among leaders. Second, It creates security instability in the country. The Dutertes have a lot of supporters, almost the whole of Mindanao, not just Davao, and practically all areas where Bisaya is spoken. That includes Central Visayas, some parts of Negros, and more. It's not just political, it's cultural. Bisaya people relate to each other very easily. They are proud of their language and culture. So, if Sara is impeached, there's a chance of a civil war-like divide between Visayas and Mindanao, with maybe Tacloban and Iloilo as exceptions, and Luzon. If that happens, the economy will collapse. No investor will risk putting money into a conflict zone. Third, it scares foreign investors. Businesses avoid countries that are unstable. If they sense risk, they leave, or they never come in the first place. Fourth, tourism will drop significantly. Tourists check travel advisories. If a country has political tension, protests, or threats of unrest, they cancel their bookings. Airlines lose revenue. Hotels go empty. Local workers lose income. This hurts the tourism sector badly. Fifth, some say the motive behind the impeachment is purely political. It's not really about right or wrong. It's about power. They say Speaker Martin Romualdez wants to block Sara from running for president in 2028. He wants to be the one to succeed President Marcos Jr. So he allegedly worked with groups who hate the Dutertes, like the camps of Trillanes and Risa Hontiveros. These groups are seen by many as vindictive toward the Dutertes, not fair-minded, not neutral, just angry. Romualdez is also accused of bribing lawmakers, 150 million pesos for those who signed the complaint. Those who didn't sign were allegedly denied budget. That's not democracy. That's coercion, almost like they were forced to sign. A robbery in broad daylight, some people say. Sixth, critics say this impeachment is unfair. Many of the lawmakers who supported the complaint are themselves accused of corruption. Some have long histories of pocketing government funds. Why are they not being investigated too? Shouldn't they first come out clean? Shouldn't they publicly declare their SALNS? Shouldn't they open their accounting books and show where their budget really went? If they cannot do that, then what moral ground do they have? It becomes a case of hypocrisy, like a pot calling a kettle black. So, for people against the trial, they say, we can't risk unrest, lost jobs, and lost peace, all because of politics. But now, let's look at the other side. Why is it a good idea to proceed with the trial? First, it is a constitutional obligation. The Senate has the sole power to try impeachment cases. The Constitution says the Senate must begin the process right away once the complaint is transmitted. It is not optional. It is a duty. Second, no one is above the law. Whether you're a vice president or an ordinary citizen, you must be accountable. Third, the charges are serious and must be addressed. These are not small mistakes. These are allegations of threats to kill, misuse of funds, bribery, and more. Fourth, the trial protects democratic accountability. If we avoid the process, we create a system where powerful people are untouchable. That's not a democracy. Fifth, delaying the process makes it look like the Senate is protecting her. That destroys public trust. People will stop believing in institutions. Sixth, it shows we respect the rule of law. A transparent trial proves that we put truth above politics, that we're a mature country. Seventh, and this is important, the world is watching. Our institutions are being tested. If we show weakness now, it will set a bad example for future generations. So, what should we do? Here comes the hard truth. This procedure will have its costs, and it's not cheap. A full Senate trial could last about 90 days, based on past impeachment trials. Daily operating costs of the Senate are estimated at around 20 million pesos. Add to that the cost of lawyers, legal teams, expert witnesses, security, logistics, and media coverage. Those costs could total over 1 billion pesos. Divide that across 3 months, and the total daily cost becomes about 31 million pesos. Multiply that by 90 days. That's more than 2.7 billion pesos. Nearly 3 billion pesos of taxpayer money. So we must ask ourselves, is it worth it? Because while the trial is happening, other national issues might slow down. We might delay food programs, delay housing projects, delay school and health reforms. These are things the poor need. While the trial might serve politicians, ordinary Filipinos could end up suffering. But again, if we don't pursue the trial, what message are we sending? Are we saying truth doesn't matter if it's inconvenient? So we must ask again, if this will run for 3 months or more, don't you think that would still be worth it? Yes, it will cost money. Yes, some projects might be delayed, but maybe this is the cost of cleaning the system. But if we avoid the trial, we could lose investment opportunities. New businesses may not come in. Laws that are needed to help our economy become more competitive will be set aside. So now we must think, do we accept the cost and let the trial proceed? Or do we protect peace, protect the economy, and let the case fade? This is one of the biggest political stories in recent years. It could define how we hold leaders accountable, or how politics blocks justice. We are not saying Vice President Sara Duterte is guilty. Not at all. That's for the Senate court to decide, based on evidence, witnesses, and facts. But unless a trial happens, we will never know the truth. Now it's your turn. What do you prefer? Should the Senate proceed with the trial, or pause it to preserve peace and prosperity? Where do you stand on this? Let us know in the comments.